A young man named Danny gets out of bed early morning after a successful night out with his girlfriend Nikki and his best friend Karl, who is also his roommate. Whilst getting some fresh air, he hears some noise which turns out to be Karl smoking a J playing some games. Using his powers of persuasion, he convinces Danny to play some Street Fighter with him, even though he has work in a few hours. The pair of them get so worked up, they end up waking Nikki. But instead of being mad, she just grabs the joint and leaves. 11 years later, Danny is manning the barbecue at his birthday party surrounded by family and friends having fun. All seems well, but after a simple conversation with a friend of a friend, it appears that Danny is not so thrilled with his current social circle, as it's actually quite mundane. Little does he know his closest friend is on the way. Nikki greets him at the door and is ecstatic about their reunion because it's been so long since they last saw each other. Upon seeing one another, our main guy offers a formal handshake, but thankfully Karl breaks the ice by cussing him out like the good old days. Surprisingly, the man also brought him a gift, which turns out to be the latest and greatest installment of that fighting game they used to play together. Alongside it, he also bought him a virtual reality game system to play it with. Karl claims he tried a demo of it in store, and it blew his mind to smithereens. Danny grabs them some beers to talk and joke around more. Karl's lifestyle is more of a bachelor who likes his freedom and doesn't stay with his relationships too long, whereas Danny is happy he got married to Nikki and had a kid with her since he knows how time-consuming the dating market really is. However, despite their differences, the two of them still think of each other as brothers. As night falls, Karl goes on a first date with that girl he showed his bro earlier, and everything seems cool yet when she reveals one of her quirks. The man is taken aback by her lack of table manners. On the other hand, Danny and Nikki really seem made for one another because despite being together for so long, they still put in effort to please their partner and show their affection. Upon getting to bed, it's revealed they are trying for another pregnancy, but Danny turns down the offer for tonight since he's feeling tired. Instead, he winds down by playing some Tetris on the TV. Back to Karl, he didn't care enough for the lack of etiquette and ended up bringing her back to his place. Afterwards, he heads into his living room and invites Danny to try out the gift he bought him earlier. The man coaches his friend step by step where to insert the game card and how to activate the VR system. They pick their all-time favorite characters and prepare themselves. The game transports their entire consciousness to the virtual world and utterly blows Danny's mind. He finds out that even that bad knee of his doesn't hurt anymore, and he can now do superhuman moves. Both flex their muscles along with their special moves, and then the real match starts. After exchanging blows, the realization finally hits Danny like a truck. Not only is the game visual, but it also stimulates physical touch since the device hijacks his nervous system, meaning it's as if he is really there. In the ensuing fight, both players land some pretty good shots, but Karl's experience with the game shines through. Both opponents reach a standstill after tumbling on the ground. All of a sudden, Karl's character goes in for the kiss. A few seconds pass, and Danny snaps out of it, exclaiming his utter surprise at the kiss. Both men immediately leave the game and reconsider their entire life up until now. The following day, it's obvious that the kiss is still lingering around in his mind, bothering him. But when night comes again, he gets another invite to play the game. The two of them use the same excuse. Yesterday at the party they had too much to drink and chalk it all up to being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Logging into the game again, they approach each other supposedly to fight, but all hell breaks loose and they start going at it pronto like some dogs in heat. After all is said and done, Karl makes the joke that they must be gay now, but it's obvious that something is not quite right with that statement. Nevertheless, from that day onwards, both the supposedly straight men start making the habit of signing into the game every night to make some virtual love to one another. Upon embracing their dark desires more and more, even their daily lives start to get affected in the way of interaction with people they once showed affection to. Danny is declining his wife's approaches more frequently, and Karl just seems to space out even in the company of his pretty girlfriend. One day at work, Nikki texts her husband she got a babysitter for tonight, but it seems that the man has been out of it so much lately that he completely forgot about their anniversary. His immediate reaction is to text his side chick and postpone their date until further notice. Whilst waiting for her man at the bar, an attractive stranger approaches seeking her number, but unfortunately for him, Nikki shows him her ring, and so he apologizes. Simultaneously, Danny shows up. After dinner, she starts to open up to him, asking why he seems so out of it lately and is there someone else. He used to make her feel like she was loved, But nowadays, it's the complete opposite, so she's been quite sad. The man assures her that there is no one else that he is seeing on the side and apologizes for his lack of commitment recently. After getting home and winding down by playing some Tetris, his side chick appears online, and Danny hits his breaking point. He grabs the gifts that Karl bought him for his birthday and buries them in the back of the cupboard. Several months pass by with no interaction between the pair. Danny seemed to be able to recover his whole situation quite nicely. But when we see Karl, we see him behaving like an ex-girlfriend who never got over her last relationship, which left her emotionally broken. Whilst washing the dishes, it's revealed Danny's birthday is coming up soon, so Nicky took the liberty of inviting one of his old friends for dinner, Karl. The three of them are eating together, but the tension is so thick in the air, you could cut it with a knife. The woman goes off to bring dessert, and things start to spiral out of control. Firstly, Danny asks why he even accepted the invite to come over when things are so bad between them. Karl tells him the truth, being he has been so empty ever since they stopped seeing each other. Furthermore, he claims that he's been trying to find something that can replace that feeling he got when he was with him in game. He even tried group sessions in multiplayer, and even tried clapping that big-ass polar bear. Yet in the end, he shamelessly states that nothing he found ever replaced that ecstasy that he experienced with Danny. At the same time, Nicky walks back into the room, curious on what they could have been talking about, but the two supposedly straight men play it cool like nothing happened. Close to his departure, he whispers in the man's ear that Roxette will be waiting for him at midnight in the game, ready for him. Unable to sleep, it seems that Danny also felt that special something and gives up trying to forget about the whole thing. During the act, Karl feels so good that he slips up and says, "I love you." This seems to be the last straw, because Danny gets angry about what's going on and bluntly asks Karl to come meet him in the parking lot behind their favorite club. Upon seeing each other, Danny's intention is revealed, which is that they should kiss one another in real life to know if they are actually gay or not. When it's over, they both admit they feel nothing, and that's the whole situation resolved, until Karl's true depravity shows itself by him still eagerly wanting to clap each other in game, despite not feeling any desire in the real world. The married man gets angry and starts confronting him about how sick he really is, so the two end up fighting each other. Nicky comes to pick him up from the station and demands that he reveals everything to her, since they were acting so suspicious at dinner. Time passes as their new child is born, and Karl gets the equivalent, which is obviously a cat. Everything seems normal, except that when night comes, the two exchange what seems to be gifts, except that the reality is that now that his wife knows what happened, the couple both mutually agreed on a pact. The pact being, they both get one time a month where they are allowed to go be with someone else for the night.
Hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to have a cool ass day.